Explosions shatter the silence. US warplanes rain fire on ISIS hideouts in Syria. This is Operation Hawkeye Strike, America's furious revenge. Welcome back to the Military Journal, where today we're zeroing in on Operation Hawkeye Strike, the massive US military operation that's sending shockwaves through the Middle East. Let's get into it. It's December 13th, 2025, in the ancient ruins of Palmyra, Syria. A routine US-led patrol is ambushed by a lone ISIS gunman embedded in local security forces. In a hail of gunfire, 2 brave American National Guard soldiers and a civilian interpreter are killed. The attack injures others and reignites fears that ISIS, the so-called Islamic State, is far from defeated. This wasn't just any skirmish. It was a direct slap in the face to US forces operating in Syria to keep the peace and hunt down remnants of the terrorist group. Fast forward to December 19th, 2025, just 6 days later. Under the cover of darkness, the US Central Command launches Operation Hawkeye Strike, a blistering retaliatory assault designed to dismantle ISIS infrastructure and send a clear message: mess with America and you'll pay dearly. Named Hawkeye for its precision and unyielding focus, like a hawk zeroing in on prey, this operation targeted over 70 ISIS sites scattered across central Syria. We're talking weapons depots, command centers, training camps, and hideouts where these terrorists plot their next moves. What made Operation Hawkeye Strike so devastating? Let's break down the firepower. US forces unleashed more than 100 precision-guided munitions. Think laser-guided bombs and missiles that hit their marks with surgical accuracy. Leading the charge were iconic aircraft like the F-15E Strike Eagle multi-role fighters, which screamed into the skies from Middle Eastern bases. But the real stars? The legendary A-10 Thunderbolt II Warthogs from the 74th Fighter Squadron, known as the Flying Tigers. These tank busters, with their massive GAU-8 Avenger rotary cannons, roared back into action, providing close air support that ISIS fighters could only dread. And it wasn't just an air show. H-64 Apache attack helicopters hovered like deadly guardians, firing Hellfire missiles into enemy positions. Ground artillery pounded away, while special forces conducted raids that led to the detention of 23 suspected ISIS terrorists. To top it off, the Jordanian armed forces joined the fray, contributing their own fighter aircraft for coordinated strikes. This multinational punch showed the world that allies like Jordan are standing shoulder to shoulder with the US in the fight against ISIS. Now let's talk leadership. President Donald Trump, never one to mince words, hailed Operation Hawkeye Strike as very serious retaliation, just as I promised. Speaking from the White House, he described Syria as a place soaked in blood with deep-rooted problems, but emphasized that the strikes were carried out with the full support of the Syrian government under President al-Shara. Trump warned any potential threats. You will be hit harder than you have ever been hit before if you, in any way, attack or threaten the USA. That's classic Trump. Bold, unapologetic, and laser-focused on American strength. Echoing that sentiment, US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth didn't hold back. In a fiery statement, he declared, "Today we hunted, and we killed our enemies, lots of them, and we will continue." Hegseth detailed how Operation Hawkeye Strike targeted ISIS fighters, infrastructure, and weapons sites, underscoring the Trump administration's hardline stance against terrorism. This isn't just about vengeance, it's about deterrence. ISIS, once controlling vast swaths of Iraq and Syria, has been reduced to shadowy cells, but attacks like the one in Palmyra prove there's still a viper waiting to strike. But why Syria? Why now? Let's zoom out for context. Syria's been a cauldron of chaos since the civil war erupted in 2011. ISIS rose from those ashes, committing atrocities that shocked the world. Beheadings, slavery, and the destruction of ancient sites like Palmyra itself. The US-led coalition defeated ISIS's caliphate in 2019, but pockets remain, especially in central Syria's deserts where they blend into the landscape. US troops, numbering around 900, are there to prevent resurgence, support local partners, and ensure stability. The December 13th attack? It was a stark reminder that ISIS isn't gone. They're adapting, infiltrating, and striking when least expected. Operation Hawkeye Strike wasn't improvised. It was meticulously planned. Intelligence from drones, satellites, and on-ground assets pinpointed those 70-plus targets. Precision munitions minimized civilian risks, aligning with US rules of engagement. Reports indicate lots of ISIS militants were eliminated, though exact numbers are classified. Detaining 23 suspects. That's a goldmine for intel, potentially unraveling more plots. Imagine being an ISIS fighter, hunkered in a desert bunker, thinking you're safe. Then, the ground shakes as an A-10's 30mm cannon shreds everything in sight. Or a Hellfire missile from an Apache turns your weapons cache into fireworks. It's like a real-life action movie, but with high stakes. The Warthog, nicknamed for its ugly but effective design, has been slated for retirement multiple times, yet here it is in 2025, proving why it's the king of close air support. Pilots call it the gun with wings, and in Operation Hawkeye Strike, it lived up to the hype. Critics might say, is this escalating tensions? But supporters argue it's necessary. With the Trump administration prioritizing America first, operations like this signal a no-nonsense approach to global threats. Syria's government backing the strikes? That's huge. It shows even Damascus recognizes ISIS as a common enemy, despite past frictions. As we wrap up, Operation Hawkeye Strike isn't just a one-off. It's part of an ongoing campaign to eradicate ISIS remnants. The US military's message is clear. We're watching, we're ready, and we'll strike with Hawkeye precision. What does this mean for the future? Could we see more joint ops with Jordan, or even broader coalitions? Will ISIS retaliate, or will this crush their morale? If you enjoyed this deep dive into Operation Hawkeye Strike, hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Drop a comment on what you think happens next, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the world's hottest conflicts. From US retaliation in Syria to the latest on global terrorism, we've got you covered. Stay safe out there. Peace through strength, folks. Stay informed, stay safe. Peace out.